Welcome to the Fear and Greed Business News Afternoon Report for Monday, the 16th of September 2024. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every afternoon, we've got the 5 stories that happened today that you need to know about. Story number 1, the S&P ASX 200 closed up 0.3% today to 8,122 points. Westpac led the banks, jumping 2%, taking its 12-month rise to over 50%. National Australia Bank and the Commonwealth also did well. Woolies, REA, Brambles and Suncorp did pretty well. Not so good with the big miners, Woodside and CSL. Plenty of corporate news around. Mining company Alcoa's share price jumped 5.5%, the best of the ASX 200 today, after announcing plans to sell its 25.1% stake in its Madden joint venture to its partner, the Saudi Arabian mining company, for about $1.6 billion. Defence shipbuilder Austal surged 20% after winning a $450 million contract with General Dynamics Electric Boat to expand production capacity in Alabama. 20%. It's not a top 200 company. That's why it wasn't the best of the top 200. Property group Lendlease rallied 2% on news it had completed the sale of its US East Coast construction operations. Mineral Resources released a bullish estimate of possible gas resources in its Lockyer gas project in Western Australia's Perth Basin. Its share price was flat. Online retailer Cettire dropped sharply on reports that Washington is considering reducing duty-free thresholds, and Auckland International Airport will raise 1.3 billion Aussie from shareholders to kickstart major upgrades. Story number 2, BHP had a bit to say on copper today. A commodity considered a bellwether for the economy. CFO Vandita Pant told the Financial Times that the growth of artificial intelligence will exacerbate a looming shortage of copper. The rise of data centers and AI, which requires more energy-intensive computing, could boost global copper demand by 3.4 million tonnes a year by 2050. Data centers are less than 1% of copper demand currently, but she said that's more likely to be 6 or 7% by 2050. Meanwhile, oil prices are creeping higher, as is the Aussie dollar, which is now trading at 67.3 US cents. Story number 3, precious metals are having a great time of it, with gold hitting a new record today, just under $2,590 US an ounce. Silver jumped 10% last week to about $30 US an ounce. Both are up 25% this year. Add in the possibility of a 50 basis point cut in the benchmark interest rate in the US this week when the Federal Reserve Board meets, and gold and silver are well and truly on the run. Now, when you invest in gold, you don't get a regular return like a coupon payment. What you get is safety. So when interest rates look like falling, as they do in the US, gold becomes relatively more attractive, as in you're not losing out as much by not investing in bonds. On the local ASX, gold leader Northern Star Resources share price is up nearly 25% since early July, while Evolution Mining's up almost 1/3. Other local stocks to benefit have been West African Resources and Emerald Resources. Story number 4, there was more data breaches in the first 6 months of 2024 than any time over the past 3 years, with health service providers most affected, followed by the Australian government. From January to June this year, the Australian Information Commission received 527 data breach notifications, an increase of 9% compared to the previous 6 months. Cybersecurity incidents contributed 38% of the total, while malicious or criminal attacks accounted for about 2/3. Worryingly, another 30% reflects human error, and only 3% was system fault. The majority, 63%, of data breaches affected 100 people or fewer, though one incident affected millions. Apart from health and the federal government, finance, education and retail organisations are among the groups that notified most data breaches. And story number 5, Donald Trump was the target of what the FBI said appears to be an attempted assassination at his golf club in Florida this morning, Australian time. It came 9 weeks after the Republican presidential nominee survived another attempt on his life. Trump said he was safe and well, and authorities held the man in custody. US Secret Service agents stationed a few holes up from where Trump was playing noticed the muzzle of an AK-style rifle sticking through the shrubbery that lines the course, roughly 365 metres away. An agent fired and the gunman dropped the rifle and fled in an SUV, leaving the gun behind along with 2 backpacks, a scope used for aiming, and a GoPro camera. The man was later stopped by law enforcement in a neighbouring county. The suspect was 58-year-old Ryan Wesley Ruth, who apparently had previously tried to recruit Afghan soldiers fleeing the Taliban to fight in Ukraine. Both President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris were briefed on the matter, and in a statement, Ms. Harris said that violence has no place in America, saying she was deeply disturbed by what happened. That's it for the afternoon report for Monday, the 16th of September 2024. Michael Thompson and I will be back tomorrow morning with the Tuesday edition of Fear and Greed Business News. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.